Hey everybody, welcome back to some more early morning barking, talking about BPD and MPD by somebody that has both. I have to preface this video with a couple of bits of information for you. Number one, this is one I haven't really thought through. I've just sort of turned the camera on and started talking, so, we'll see how these things go. And number two, whenever I do a sort of relationship advice video, I'm very wary of I don't know, I don't want to come across like I've got relationship secrets or know anything about it. Like I'm some sort of perfect relationship genius, which is just really not the case. But I don't know. Hopefully, in the point of this video is that I can share a couple of things that I know that help, and maybe that can help you too. Because we're talking about, is it possible to have an actual stable relationship with somebody with BPD? This is a question I get asked a lot. We have these unstable relationships. We have this habit of, well, doing things to our relationships in one form or another. There's a reason why unstable relationships is a marker of BPD. But does that mean we should all be alone and miserable and lonely and all of that? No, not at all. Not at all. But there's a couple of things you need to be aware of. And I guess we're talking about this from the point of view, there are several points of view, either from the point of view of sort of getting into a relationship potentially with somebody with BPD, and what if you're in a relationship with somebody who happens to have BPD, that sort of thing. Number one, I'm not going to number these, but the first thing, the most important thing, first of all, is your personal boundaries. I guess I'm talking to the person without BPD in this equation. We, as the people with BPD, we could potentially put you through some stuff, and you need to be careful that you don't let us put you through too much before you can sort of say, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going through too much. It's not fun anymore. Whatever. That's an important thing. But in addition to that, you also need to see progress, I think. This needs to be, we need to be doing something about our condition and making progress with it. I'm kind of skimming over these. These are a bit, well, they're important, but they're not the meat of what I want to get to, because the meat of what I want to get to is communication. This is a difficult one. It's something that we just throw out there, and we say it like, you need communication. Good communication is the key to a good relationship. And we just say that like that's a thing, right? That's just ridiculous. Because this idea that you can, all right, good communicate, I'll just start communicating well tomorrow then my relationship will be sound forever. If it was like that, then why would anyone ever break up? But the truth is, it's difficult. And that's why I really want to talk about this. This is the most important part, because everybody has a part to play in this. And it's a skill that you have to learn. And it takes time. You can't just do it tomorrow. And you need a good, close, strong relationship sometimes to be able to do some of this stuff. So let me explain why. Good communication when it comes to BPD in a relationship, especially the type that can help or, if not, save your relationship at times, can be painful to hear. If I'm splitting on my partner, which happens, I need to be able to tell her that. I need to be able to say, hey, I'm splitting. I'm having bad thoughts. I need time to myself. And that in itself is a skill, I suppose. Being able to identify when you're doing something that you don't want to do and communicate that to your partner. But depending on the reason for that split, it might be something that's very difficult for her to hear. It might be something that is upsetting for her. And being able to handle that is very much a skill and requires a lot of talking and sharing of emotion. Talking, sharing, that's only half of it. Listening and taking it in and not being hurt by it, that's also another equally big part of it, and something that is difficult and something that the people without the BPD sort of need to take on, which is a big task, and it's a lot to ask, I think. That said, this level of sharing in a relationship is a good thing, whether there's BPD or mental health problems involved at all. Being able to tell your partner anything, being able to literally just say what's going on in your mind, is a freedom and a closeness that is unlike anything else. But having a partner that can hear that can be very difficult as well. Can be difficult to find, I mean. And it can be difficult to be that partner. I mean, don't forget, right? This doesn't go one way. This might go both ways. She might have some things to say about me that are difficult for me to hear. I need to be prepared to hear that. And that's a skill. The way I feel I picked it up was actually because I went to group. That's kind of the skill that we're talking about here. See, you go and you sit in a room full of strangers, and you are told, in this room, you can say anything you want. And we all will sit and listen to you, and we'll discuss what you said, but you can say anything you want, free of judgment, free of everything in this room. And you don't just start with that. This takes weeks, a couple of months, and you start slowly. You start revealing a little bit more. You get a little bit more personal. You let that tiny bit more information come out. And as you feel more and more comfortable doing that with no negative repercussions, you eventually get to all the bad stuff that you want to talk about, all the big stuff that's super personal, because at that point you know that you can talk. And then once you get there, you're kind of okay with it. You're kind of just stuck with this ability to just, I can talk. It just comes out of me. That's easy now. It's second nature now. It just, whatever. And I'm very lucky that I found somebody that I can say anything to. That sounds really awful. I can reveal anything about myself to, would be a better way of putting it, I suppose. Share my innermost thoughts with is a very lucky thing to find. And, I think it's because, we just, I don't know why. I've just been lucky, I guess. Don't know where I was going with that one. So good communication is this two-way street of being able to hear something that's difficult. You can't just do that. And when I think back to the times in relationships that I've not been able to say, when there have been things that I've needed to talk about or wanted to talk about, problems that I've had that I could have had help with, that I felt that I couldn't talk about because it would bring about trouble. That I would get in trouble for something, my thoughts, my feelings, what I'd done, what I was doing, all kinds of things, potentially, depending on what specific thing we're talking about. And so when you can't do that, when you can't communicate these feelings, they come out in other more negative ways. And for me, they came out in arguments and picking fights and that sort of thing. Things had to come out dramatically. Nothing could come out as a conversation because I didn't feel heard in conversation form. And so it's important, this is the key, to not have to resort to whatever we resort to get this thing communicated. We have to be able to get it out right away, to say the thing. And that's the important thing. Now, where that leads us to finally is the skill that is for the person with BPD. As I touched on earlier, this ability to be able to say, I'm going through a thing. And this comes later on. This is representative of, I think, a later level of healing, when you're able to identify your negative BPD behaviors and what starts them and where they come from, and be able to say, I'm feeling like I want to rage. I'm feeling like I'm splitting. I hate all these things now, and blah, 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 all of that. Getting hold of those emotions is something I've talked about a lot in a lot of videos over the years. That is our part of it that we have to do extra. We have to put the work in on that. All these things are happening for us simultaneously. This is why I say it's so much work to do. There's so much to this. We have so many different things, so many plates spinning all at the same time. So this key to successful BPD relationships, communication and knowing what to communicate about. Just two little things in word form. We say them quite quickly and easily. Just talk, just communicate. You know, when you're going through a thing. And yet we don't acknowledge too often that it's difficult to know when you're going through a thing sometimes. And then being able to share that in a way that doesn't harm somebody, or that, you know, is enough for somebody to take, because it might be difficult, is again a whole other step into itself. And one we can't work through alone. But this is the thing about relationships. This is the bit of relationships that can be a bit, I don't know, not work, but you have to put in effort sometimes. And I think these things make those relationships stronger. So it's worth trying. I know that some people have had relationships with people with BPD, and those people are untreated and in the throes of things, and those relationships go catastrophically. And I'm sorry that people go through that. For both sets of people, people need help. But it doesn't mean that relationships with people with BPD are off the table. They're not all the same. We aren't all the same. And we're all a different way along our healing journey. And we're all healing from different things that affect us differently. So, there. Yeah. I hope that helps. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you on all the other things. Make sure you follow me on TikTok and all of that. Twitter @Barking. There's links to everything at earlymorningbarking.com. I will see you later. Bye-bye.